Hello everybody. Today we are going to be swapping out the brake and clutch stock Indian levers with these Joker machine levers. So the first thing that we will have to do, and I've already done a little bit of work here just to test it out and do a little bit of a dry run, but I haven't taken out anything just yet. But the first thing that we gotta do is take the nut off of this screw. And you'll see there's going to be a screw on both sides. So here it's going to be in this back section right here. And you can just use a size 10 socket to get that screw off. Now, the secondary thing and really the most annoying part of this entire process is there are these little covers that go into the bolt itself. And so these are a pain to get off. I tried to get this first one off using a razor blade and a screwdriver as was recommended by Indian when I called them up and asked them how to take it off. And they said, yeah, just slide in a screwdriver, it should pop right off. And this thing just completely broke apart. I had to get pliers and dig it in there and rip it out, and the whole thing broke apart. So we'll figure out something else to put there. So you can see there's a little cover here. So I'm gonna try and save this one, but we'll see. But you can just slide in your razor blade, or if you have a very small screwdriver, that should also work. Just want to slide it in and just try and pry it as gently as possible without scratching everything up. So right now I'm just trying to loosen everything up. I'm not trying to use the razor blade to get it to pry out because it actually goes into the bolt. So the razor blade is definitely not going to be strong enough to pry it open. What I'm going to try and do is get leverage on multiple sides and see if that will happen to work. Nope, then this snapped. So this is the problem where it's so brittle, it just snaps off. Just breaks apart. Yeah, you can really see how it just has completely broken apart. And it's quite difficult to get out. So I'm gonna just have to resort to digging it out. There we go, and it popped out. So then the next step will be to undo the bolt on the bottom. So this is pretty straightforward. The part of the controls right here are getting in the way of the bolt. So on the clutch side, you may just have to try and get this to hold it down and just... And this is a 2020 Scout, by the way. I do not know what the differences are between this model year and older / newer models. Okay, here the bolt came off. You can see there's Loctite on there. If you want to make this easier, I would recommend taking off the mirrors, because as of right now, the Allen key is getting in the way with the mirror, so I have to keep pulling it out, and there we go. So here we may need to loosen this housing because it looks like it's going to be getting in the way. So we'll need to loosen the housing and possibly loosening up the clutch as well. So before we jump into doing all that, let's go ahead and take out the bolt on the brake side, which I have already started. So from all of this, it looks like the brake side is going to be a bit easier to manage. There we go. Strip the bolt from the brake. Leave that up there. And brake just comes right out. Pretty easy to deal with. And so this is how the brake works. You'll see there's a little rod right there. So when you pull in the brake, it pushes in the little rod there. So it's a very simple but effective mechanism. So here we have the Indian stock brake lever. And now let's go ahead and deal with the other side. So for the housings, we are going to need our I don't remember off the top of my head if it's T20 or T30. So this is T30. You know what? We might just be able to get away with just dealing with this one. So I think we do need the T20 for the rock form. So here, take off the rock form mount. Pretty simple. There we go. So yeah, just use your T20s to loosen up that end. Okay, cool. So then this just comes out just like that. So here we have our stock clutch lever. All right, so here we have the brake lever. So there's also a little switch right here. I'm wondering if this is for the light. And it does look like we may need to reuse, I think we do need to reuse this component right here, because this looks like it's missing from here. So how do we take this out? It looks like a very small Allen key. This is just tearing it up. Yeah, it's not doing anything. It's tightened down so damn tight. It just, yeah, it's completely warped now. Yeah, I don't know what to do. I guess gotta order another one of these parts then. Well, we'll do more research and see what we come up with. All right, after many trials and tribulations, I was finally able to get the actuator out of the stock lever, and it was not easy. Like, this thing was a huge pain to get out. What I ended up having to do was, first I tried to use the proper bits, and it just stripped the bolt. Like the aluminum on this, or whatever this is, was so soft, it just stripped immediately. So I actually had to hammer in a larger bit, and then I was finally able to get it out using a very small torque wrench. So that is what I had to do. You can see it's all chewed up. This is what I had to do to actually get it in there. Hopefully now I will be able to actually finish the rest of this install. So with all of that being said and done, hopefully now we can tighten this down and move on to getting everything installed. And now we'll go ahead and get everything back in place. So this is going to go around over here and should just sit in just like that. There we go. Just have to push it in just a bit. All right, so now that we got the Loctite on the bolts, again, go ahead and start to tighten it down. Just clean that off. All right, so that is our brake line, or that is our brake lever installed. Feels good. Now for the clutch. Now, clutch should be much easier compared to the brake line. There are There's nothing that we need to reuse for the clutch line, so this should be a fairly straightforward install. Stick that up and around. There we go. And we can certainly tighten down get this in the exact fit. So let's tighten down all the way. Let's get the nuts. Put a little bit of Loctite in there. So for this one, we'll just have to do our best to tighten it up since we can't get our wrench in there like before. All right. So now let's go ahead and tighten up everything once again. All right, we just finished installing the Joker Machine brake and clutch levers. Let's see how they look. All right, everybody, so in very quick summary, we swapped out the brake line as well as the clutch line. Had to take these clasps off, which were a pain in the ass. Had to get the actuator out of the brake line, which was a even bigger pain in the ass. Neither of those things I was expecting. I thought this was going to be a super quick swap out, easy install, 10 minutes, but it did end up taking a bit longer. But not too much longer, maybe an hour or so. So if you have a 2020 Scout, do keep those in mind. The actuator is really the biggest thing to keep an eye out for. We'll see if we can get some more covers for this just to make sure nothing else messes with the bolt. We'll get those replaced. But otherwise, the Joker Machine clutch and brake levers are installed. I think they look much better than the stock. The black, really makes it look better in my opinion. Not a huge fan of chrome, but to each their own. So I think this is a good improvement for the bike. All right, everybody, leave your comments or questions down below. I'm very responsive, looking forward to connecting with each and every one of you. As always, be brave, do good, take care of yourselves, and we'll see you in the next one.